Oh, hello. This is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video and would like to receive notifications of my future video postings, please subscribe. You probably wonder why I have my sunglasses on for this video. Well, it is not I'm trying to be cool. It is because during the last couple of days, I have developed a pink eye, and actually it doesn't look very pleasant. So I decided that I will wear sunglasses to conceal it. This happened to me about a long time ago when I was teaching. I remember I had a really bad case of conjunctivitis, and the end result is that I have to wear glasses during my classes. My students make fun of me at the time, but they quickly got used to it. So you might see me in the next few videos with my sunglasses on. Hopefully I will recover shortly. In this video, I would like to tell you how my perception towards stainless steel wok changed dramatically when I figured out how to clean it. This nearly about 20 years ago when I became tired of woks with non-stick coatings. Because every few years those non-stick coating will wear off and I have to replace them. This happened far too frequent than I would like. I usually will get a new wok every 2 years. I have a good friend of mine who was my roommate during my undergraduate years in college. I will call him Tom for the purpose of this video. After his graduation, he went into his family business, which is running an Italian restaurant. He then went on to culinary school, and then he spent almost 2 years in Italy cooking in some of the best restaurants in Rome. We tried to keep up over these years, and I then asked him what kind of cookware should I get? Because I know in the restaurant business they never use woks with non-stick coatings. He told me that I should get a stainless steel wok because all the cookwares in the restaurant are stainless steel. He told me that most importantly, they are really easy to clean and they last forever. On top of that, they look shiny and pristine, so when you look at them, you'd always know they are cleaned. This was a great attraction to me because I don't like cookware that look grimy. And this was probably one of the main reasons over the years I resist to use carbon steel wok or cast iron woks. Unfortunately, things did not work out. After I got my first stainless steel wok, within about 2 or 3 times when I cook it, I have things bend badly onto the surface of the wok. I had a really hard time cleaning them. I was so disappointed, so I put the wok back into the basement and I go back to the woks with non-stick coatings. I ran into Tom again a number of years later, and I asked him, I said, I have real trouble of cleaning my stainless steel wok. What would you recommend to do? He then explained to me the method of using boiling water to clean anything that burned onto the cookware with stainless steel surface, and he told me that it works every single time. So I went home and tried it, and I was amazed by how well it actually works. So in this video, I would like to demonstrate to you how I keep my stainless wok clean, shiny, and pristine all the time. And because of my spot seasoning method, I can season my stainless steel wok each time when I'm ready to use them. So let me tell you there are basically 3 different steps that I use to clean my wok, and depend on how badly things are burned to the surface of the woks. The first method is using a wok brush. I would say about 70 to 80% of the time, the wok brush is sufficient to clean the wok. The food debris that might have left on the surface of the wok is loosely attached, so a wok brush can easily remove them. If I spot season the wok each time before I cook, this is usually the result. Now, occasionally, things might attach to the surface of the wok a little bit more reluctant than otherwise. In this case, the wok brush doesn't seem to be very effective. So I will do is that then I will use a scrub pad. Over the years, I have used a product made by Scotch-Brite. It is a scrub sponge. You can buy the scrub pad as well, but the scrub sponge works really well. Most of the time using the scrub sponge, you can remove those stain or any particles that burn to the surface of the wok readily. The third method that I use is the water boiling method that introduced me by Tom. This is when the food particle that burn very deeply onto the surface of the wok. You might have that happen to you before. In fact, that was what happened to me when I first got my stainless steel wok. I remember it took me almost like hours just to get a dent into the burn particles. Even then, I was unable to get the stain completely off the surface of the wok. In fact, this is the common perspective of how stainless steel wok is not very good for using for stir fry, simply because it is very hard to clean off those burnt material on the surface of the wok. Based on the method that Tom taught me, I find that in fact you can clean the wok really easy. Actually, it's even easier than if you try to remove the burnt particle with a scrub sponge. So here's an example of something that burned to the surface of the wok. And in this case, even though it looks lightly burnt, but if I try to clean it in the sink without using this method, they will be very difficult to clean. So using this method, all I have to do is that put the wok back into the stove and turn the stove to high. Then I will use a squeezed water bottle and put water a little bit at a time into the wok. As you can tell, as the water hit the surface of the wok, it starts to sizzle almost immediately. I always enjoy this part because I find it almost amazing how quickly those burnt particles are being basically boiled off. At this point, if you use your wok spatula, you can easily detach them from the surface of the wok. So usually within about 10 to 30 seconds, you can clean the wok off completely. And when you take it to the sink, you can use your wok brush to detach everything that appear to have stuck to the surface of the wok. I was very grateful that Tom showed me this method, and I'm going to show you some other examples of how this works. It is really reassuring to know that I have this clean method in my repertoire. So I really have no fear of using the wok in any way that I want, because I know if I have things burn onto it, I will be able to clean it readily. In fact, no matter how well you season the wok, when you're cooking this type of food, you always end up with food burning to the surface of the wok. I find that in the case, particularly when I frying meat or vegetables, if I add seasoning to the wok, if I have to cook the seasoning for a significant amount of time, they will always end up burning to the surface of the wok. Other type of food that will burn to the surface of the wok is particularly in the case of rice or noodles, which have a lot of moisture in it, and if you try to fry them, they will always end up stick to the bottom of the wok. Fortunately, this method works really well with stainless steel wok because I could have something that are terribly burnt to the surface of the wok and it looks almost impossible to clean. But when I use this method, usually within about 1 minute or less, I will have the wok completely clean off of the burnt particles. And when I take it to the sink, I could easily brush off and then get the wok back into its original shape. The ability to clean the wok using this method really make a huge difference of how I look at stainless steel wok. Now, of course, this method will also work on carbon steel or cast iron woks. I have used this method for cleaning terribly burnt carbon steel wok as well as cast iron wok. However, the major concern is that if you use this method, you're also going to remove the seasoning from these woks. If in this case, if you do not apply seasoning back to those woks right away by using the spot seasoning method, the woks might end up to rust. So before you store them away, you have to make sure that you coat them with oil. And of course, this is not in the case with a stainless steel wok because they don't rust at all. As a whole, the stainless steel wok do not cook any different from the carbon steel wok or the cast iron woks. And because of my preference of the wok to look clean and pristine, and this reason, I prefer stainless steel wok over the other type of woks with natural surfaces. Now this wok is my preferred wok. Every time when I reach out for a wok, I will pick out this wok to use for the cooking. So if you have a stainless steel wok, this method will be something that you want to give it a try because it will really help you to keep the wok nice and clean. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like icon below because this will help me to expand my audience base. I'm posting about one video each day and with or without pink eyes. If you would like to receive notifications of my future video postings, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you next time.